Multinational cannabis operator Clever Leaves, the ticker symbol is CLVR, began trading on the NASDAQ on the 18th of December. They rang the bell this week as well after its SPAC IPO. What kind of growth can we expect from Clever Leaves and the cannabis sector next year? For that conversation, I'd like to welcome in the CEO of Clever Leaves, Kyle Detwiler. It's great to see you, Kyle. Thanks for being here. I mean, it's interesting. By the way, the group today, up arrows. Your stock is higher today, but I just saw an article that just said cannabis stocks spike higher on volume. So the group is doing well today. What's going in the right direction for your company right now?
Well, I'd say, we are one of the first true low-cost producers to list on the NASDAQ. So I think that's sort of a new element. The industry is rounding out a bit. On top of that, I think in the last couple of days, there's been a lot of M&A activity. You've seen consolidation in Canada with, two of the largest producers coming together. And, I think that plays well for Clever Leaves. A big emphasis in the Aphria and Tilray deal was about Europe. It was about low cost and specifically Tilray's Portugal facility. And so we're not very far from them. So I think those are a lot of good things. And I think the industry is just shining because it's one of the few industries that's going to be growing at 30% plus a year for a decade or so in the near term as we move from an illicit market to a regulated market. So I think that's all good news for us.
Yeah, I mean, it is good news for you, but the question is, people were so excited about cannabis stocks and they were soaring and then they sort of got burned because they pulled back. You talk about your production and the value that it brings to the company. Where is most of the production done? How will you expand that? I know you're a multinational company right now.
Yeah, I think one of the main differentiators about Clever Leaves is that a couple of years ago, we took cues from the ag industry and the pharmaceutical industry. And rather than build production in Canada or the United States, we decided to go where it would make sense for Mother Earth and for the bottom line. So we've put most of our production facilities into Colombia. We are one of the largest producers down there. We have 1.8 million square feet of manufacturing. And that allows us to have about a 90% cost advantage compared to the operating costs of the Canadians. So that is a very new development. It's the first time something like that has been on the NASDAQ.
So producing mostly in Colombia at this point when we talk about what's going on. So the cannabis SPAC that you had here, right, with SAMA, with Schultz, that was a special purpose acquisition company in order to make this possible for you. You have a lot of money on the balance sheet from what I understand. I mean, this was a $250 million deal, but with all the money on the balance sheet at this point, I mean, I saw one number more than 80 million in cash. What are you going to do with all that cash?
Yeah, and that's right. We do have about 80 million of cash. It's a great event for the company. I think the main purpose of that cash is to ensure that we can run out this industry. We are one of the only EU GMP certified companies in the world, but when you're entering pharmaceutical sales, as is how cannabis is sold in most places outside of North America, it takes a little bit of time. So, we've been delayed a little bit longer than we would have liked. And so having that cash reserve ensures that every investor in Clever Leaves knows that we're gonna be through it. The highs and the lows of the industry, we'll be a survivor. But at the same time, I think there are a lot of great opportunities. There are not many cannabis companies in Latin America, not many in Europe. There's a lot of interesting opportunities for us to expand, to build more distribution. So I think we're going to be very, very thrifty and protect that cash reserve. But I think we will strike if the iron is hot.
Yeah, it's so hard to know where the fair value is for a company when it's first lists. People don't quite understand. They don't know as much about your company. Where would you say your company is fairly valued based on your guidance and what you expect for the years ahead?
Yeah, when we put out some projections before the SPAC transaction was conducted, and I think whether you looked at it as a revenue multiple or an EBITDA multiple, we were at a significant discount to sort of peer multiples. If we looked forward to a couple years, that discount could be as great as 75%. So when I spent most of my career at KKR and the Blackstone Group, and when I see something like that, I see the market saying, "Okay, welcome to the NASDAQ. Prove to us you can do what you can do, and if you can do anything close to what you expect, there's a lot of upside potential in the stock.
All right, Kyle, great conversation. That would be something if you're really at such a discount, then people should jump in. Kyle, thank you so much. Kyle Detwiler, the CEO of Clever Leaves. Keep an eye on it. Thanks for joining us here on the watch list.